Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So the big news is now, who should replace Romelu Lukaku at Manchester United. Don't forget we've only got until tomorrow 5 PM, to currently find a replacement for him. So there has been, throughout the course of the summer, quite a few players on our agenda, who could replace Romelu Lukaku now at the football club, because we do know now Lukaku, of course, is heading off to Inter Milan, and I think it's very imperative that Manchester United, do get a replacement for him by tomorrow evening. But recent reports have come out just quite recently. I've just noticed this. It says reportedly Manchester United are interested in Inaki Williams from Atletico Bilbao. I do believe the player has around the 81 million release clause. Reportedly Manchester United are willing to pay this 81 million release clause. Now he's 25 years of age. He's Spanish. He's current forward is the player, so obviously we are seeing him as an adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku. I do believe Inaki Williams' goal scoring pedigree is pretty good. I do believe he spent the entirety of his career with Atletico Bilbao. I do believe he scored around 48 goals in 204 first team appearances for Atletico Bilbao, and I do believe he's still under contract with them until 2025, I do believe. So he's still got a lot of years left on his contract term as the player, and he's only 25, so he has still got a lot of development in him. I think his strength's very, very good. I think his stability is good. I think he's got electrifying pace as this player, and obviously he would add a bit more experience in our attacking line. I do believe Inaki Williams has also attracted interest from Liverpool, but reportedly now Manchester United are willing to pay his 81 million release clause that he's got in his contract with Atletico Bilbao. So reportedly now we are in there for him. So there's been quite a few players mentioned, who could replace Romelu Lukaku at the football club. Obviously, we have spent 148 million pounds this summer on Daniel James, on Wan-Bissaka, and of course on Harry Maguire. But we do believe, this is not enough. And obviously now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priority, will be to recommend a couple of new additions in that midfield, regardless of what happens there with Paul Pogba. Obviously we've been in search for the right winner, for the majority of the summer, but a right winner's not coming to Manchester United. Now obviously, we've got to search for a replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, there's also been talks about Moussa Dembele from Lyon. We've been in for him quite a few times. We know we've been tentatively linked to him. Moussa Dembele, hasn't been one of our main priority targets, but we have been in there for him. Moussa Dembele is around 23 years of age. I think just recently, turned 23 years of age. I do believe quite a few teams, were tracking Moussa Dembele, when he was younger, when he was actually, at Fulham, because I do believe, initially began his career with Fulham, did Moussa Dembele, but I think he did well in his debut season last season for Lyon. I think he scored 20 goals in 46 appearances in all competitions. I think Lyon got him last summer from Celtic for around, was it 19 or 20 million pounds. I still think he's got 4 years left on his contract with Lyon. But before he was at Lyon, he did have 2 good years at Celtic, and that did the play. I think he's an out-and-out number 9. So I think, do you think he would be a good replacement for Lukaku? Obviously, reports were emerging out a while back. We saw Wissam Ben Yedder as a potential replacement for Romelu Lukaku and that. And I do know now we look much better in that attacking third of the pitch, because I have been analysing, I've been analysing us, throughout the course of pre-season. We do look much better in that attacking third of the pitch, because we have now got that pace in that attacking third of the pitch. You've got Daniel James with electrifying pace. You've got Rashford with good pace. You've got Martial and that with good pace. And obviously we've got the likes of Mason Greenwood. That's upcoming. He's been guaranteed more first team football this season. So I do believe now he's going to get promoted into the first team, especially with Romelu Lukaku leaving the football club. And obviously Chong is the upcoming future. Now don't forget we still got Lingard and the likes of Juan Mata in our attacking line, but I still believe we need an upgrade to the likes of Lingard, Mata and all that, and we need, I definitely do believe we need someone to replace Romelu Lukaku at the football club. But don't forget, we have got until the 2nd of September to negotiate the sale of players, but we have signed 3 players this summer. We spent 148 million pounds, but I do believe there's no more incomings for Manchester United in this transfer window. Even Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say we're still looking to sign 1 or 2 more players before this window does shut, because I do believe we need at least a couple of more players, if we want to exceed expectation levels in the Premier League this season. I do still believe, we'll have a better season, this season, in my opinion. We're not going to win the league, I'm very sceptical that's going to happen, but I think this season will maybe, finish in the top 4. Obviously, our expectations probably anywhere this season, will be to finish in the top 4, and I think, in the next couple of seasons, our aspirations will be that top 4, in my opinion. Maybe our expectations as well will be to win some silverware this season, as well as that current top four. But we've got big ambitions for the future. As I do keep saying, obviously want to get back to winning trophies. Obviously, this is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does want to bring back to the club. But I just don't think the squad's good enough to win trophies at this moment in time. Because like I said, we're lacking in that midfield. I think we also need a right winner. Okay, we're okay on that left hand side. We look really, really good on that left hand side. Because if you're looking at last season, the majority of our attacker was coming from that left hand side. So I think we're okay on that left hand side. But there is still, you can still see the deficiencies in the squad, where Manchester United are lacking. I still believe, we need to sell more players than Romelu Lukaku, because there's quite a few other problematic players at the football club. I think we need to get rid of the likes of Darmian. We also need to get rid of Rojo, because obviously, they've both endured difficult times at the football club. With Darmian, he hasn't really been given the opportunity, and with Marcus Rojo, I think his Manchester United career has been mainly affected with the amount of injuries he has sustained. But I'm very delighted, that we got Harry Maguire in. Obviously, we've got that experienced centre half in now, which is very, very good. We got that right back in that we did want, but we're not going to get any midfielders in that we want, and that's what I'm really, really infuriated about. And the board did assure that there was going to be a backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer this summer, and they did say if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer doesn't get all the players he wants, you can say the board have let him down and that. And it's very, very disappointing. But I did say certain players, anywhere may have reservations about joining the club, because we're not in a Champions League football for this season. Champions League football is always very pivotal. When you do want to get your number one targets, obviously, when you do want to when you do want to attract players to the elite level, certain players may have reservations about coming to the football club. But yes, I think that's our transfer business done this summer, for the incoming. So I think now we've got to focus more on the outgoings and all that. But like I said, the news came out earlier on today in regards to Romelu Lukaku. Obviously now Inter Milan have put around, it was coming from Sky Sports. Sky Sports said, they'd made a new bid of around £65 million up front, with 12 million in add-ons. So the deal is reportedly, worth around £77 million. But actually some reports have said, it's £72 million with bonuses included. But either way, Inter Milan now have currently met our valuation, and reportedly, this bid has been accepted. And reportedly, Romelu Lukaku, I think he's set to fly. I think he's set to fly out to Italy tomorrow for his medical. I do believe he's going to sign the contract this evening, according to a few media outlets I've currently read. But it has been confirmed today that that Lukaku's running transfer saga has finally now come to a conclusion. Which is absolutely fantastic. I do believe Lukaku's agent flew out to London today to obviously hold negotiations with Manchester United. But this is very, very good news indeed. So obviously we're going to generate a substantial amount for his departure. So we've just obviously paid 80 million for Harry Maguire. So obviously we're going to generate the majority of the money that we paid Harry Maguire on, of course, Lukaku's departure. But obviously now with the money we're going to generate for his departure, obviously we're intending on putting that on Inaki Williams from Atletico. But however it comes to Manchester United or not, I do not know. But as you all know, recent reports said that Inter Milan had a £68 million bid turned down. They also had a £54 million bid turned down the other week. They also inquired about getting Romelu Lukaku on a 2-year loan with the obligation to buy. But of course Manchester United didn't entertain this offer, because obviously we made it clear to Inter Milan throughout the course of the summer, we're looking to recoup the money that we did pay for Lukaku a couple of years ago from Everton, because we initially paid £75 million for him. There were several add-ons included in the deal, which did potentially rise it to £90 million. Obviously Lukaku is obviously our third most expensive signing and all that. I do believe anyway, we currently more overpaid from him. Inter Milan, at one point were under financial fair play restrictions. Obviously from the majority of the summer, they were trying to offload a couple of their players to help them generate funds, to meet that current valuation. But at long last now, Inter Milan have reached a verbal agreement with Manchester United. The contract's been sorted out, the wages and that have been sorted out, and of course the bid as currently been accepted, which is absolutely fantastic news. But obviously Antonio Conte identified Romelu Lukaku as his number one target. Obviously Antonio Conte has been a long admirer of the player, because obviously reflected back a couple of years ago when Antonio Conte was the manager of Chelsea, he wanted Romelu Lukaku at that point, but obviously he turned down Chelsea Lukaku, and he ended up making the move to Manchester United. But anyway, Lukaku was keen on playing under Antonio Conte's guidance, because a while back he did describe Antonio Conte as one of the best managers in the world, and probably probably Lukaku believes he will flourish under Antonio Conte's guidance. But like I said, Inter Milan had 2 bids turned down this summer, but their 3rd bid now has been accepted by Manchester United. So I think it's a deal worth 77 million, 65 million up front, 12 million add-ons. Some reports say 72 million up front, with add-ons included. But whatever it is, it's the bid's good enough, for Manchester United, of course, to currently accept, and we have currently accepted this bid. But this was stemming from Simon Stone and the BBC. It also was stemming from Sky Sports saying that Inter Milan are close to signing Romelu Lukaku, which is absolutely fantastic news. And obviously, Lukaku's agent Federico Pastorelli, throughout the course of the summer has been working very hard to get his client a transfer to Inter Milan currently complete, because he did say that Inter Milan, of course, have been desperate to sign the player, and that obviously, we was unwilling to accept swap deals that Inter Milan offered us. Don't forget, earlier on in the summer, Inter Milan tried offering us Ivan Perisic for Lukaku. They also tried offering us, Mario Cardia for Lukaku, but obviously Manchester United, didn't entertain these current offers. But we do know, obviously, Lukaku as well has been fined £400,000, so he has been fined 2 weeks. He has been fined 2 weeks' wages. I think with his refusal to return to training yesterday. So he has basically been fined. He's been fined 2 weeks' wages as Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, he has been training with the Anderlecht reserves for the past couple of days, and also basically was forcing his way out of Manchester United, and all that was Romelu Lukaku. But obviously, Lukaku, didn't play 1 game throughout pre-season. Obviously, according to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Lukaku, of course, was injured. I think Solskjaer did say that he had some kind of ankle problem. This is why Lukaku didn't play, throughout pre-season. Obviously, when he wasn't playing in them games in pre-season, obviously, that had fueled more speculation. That obviously, last week, there was a possibility, chance that he was, going to be going to Juventus. Was Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, we do know there was talks about, Lukaku and Dybala as a potential swap deal. Obviously, for that swap deal to have gone through, obviously, Dybala had to agree a move to Manchester United. But obviously, we do know that the swap deal had currently broken down, because obviously, Dybala rejected the transfer to Manchester United. We also ended our interest in the player due to his his substantial wage demands and all that, because it didn't actually say recently that Lukaku had agreed the personal terms with Juventus. He said he agreed the personal terms, the contract term, and that had been agreed, but everything basically relied on Paulo Dybala. But obviously now that swap deal had broken down, Inter Milan, of course, have revived their interest. They've just recently had a £68 million bid turned down. They've come up with a new bid today, and this bid has been accepted by Manchester United. So now his future, of course, has currently been resolved in that. But I did say Manchester United getting rid of Lukaku, it's beneficial for the club. It's also beneficial for the player himself, because obviously since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got recommended in, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice preference has obviously been Marcus Rashford ahead of Romelu Lukaku, and of course Lukaku has become infuriated about this, and obviously with him training with the Anderlecht reserves and not returning to training yesterday, it's obviously infuriated Manchester United and all that basically, and but yeah, very, very delighted. But with Lukaku though, I think he obviously spent 2 seasons at the football club. Obviously, he scored 42 goals in 96 games in all competitions. Did Lukaku? Obviously, Lukaku, I'll give him the credit. He was exceptional in his first season with Manchester United, but he didn't really replicate that form in his second season. I think in his first season he scored 27 goals in all competitions. In his second season didn't really replicate that though. Of course, in his second season he still actually did have 3 years remaining on his contract with Manchester United, but I think us getting rid of him, it's going to help us, obviously, it's going to help us with our rebuilding process. It will help us with our transition, and also it's going to help us to free up our wage bill, because Lukaku was on the substantial amount at Manchester United. I do believe he was on like over £200,000 a week, but we haven't anywhere got players on big contracts. But with Lukaku anyway, we won't have to see his woeful first touch anymore, because let's be honest, his first touch is woeful. I think he bottles it against the big teams. He hasn't really got that endless potential. Doesn't really get enough of them runs in behind it. I saw glimpses of how good he was, of how good he's been for Manchester United. When he does get that support up front, Lukaku can play well. He can get some of them runs in behind. A few times when Rashford played alongside him, beside him, Lukaku played well. But when he's up front on his own, he isn't quite reliable and that. So very, very, delighted, that Lukaku is leaving the football club and all that. Obviously now this will be the fourth player that's going to dip. This is going to be the fourth player that's leaving the club. Obviously, under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era, because obviously at the moment 3 players have already left the club since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer arrived. Obviously Valencia left the club after 10 years. He left at the end of last season. I think he was a long-serving player at the football club. Obviously we do know Ander Herrera left. Obviously Marian Fellaini left, and obviously we've been looking for actual midfielders that can replace Ander Herrera and Mario Fellaini at the football club. But once Lukaku's moved to Inter Milan is fully announced, I think we've got to the end. Obviously, we want to get a couple more signings in, which I don't think is going to happen. But we just need to focus on getting rid of more players. Like I said, Darmian needs to go, Rojo needs to go. With Bay, Bay is too injury prone, so maybe Manchester United should offload him as well because he's too injury prone. He's just like Rojo, basically, injury prone. Obviously, Eric Bay isn't going to, he's a doubt for this season because obviously he's out for up to 5 months, so he's out for till Christmas, I think. Eric Bay sustained a serious knee injury against Tottenham in obviously, in pre-season and that. And I think with the injuries he's sustained, also his fallout under managers, I think it's had a really bad effect on Eric Bay's career. You've got Matic, too inconsistent. Again, he's the Man U Matic. He's too slow, too ineffective in that midfield. And he's not getting any younger, he's Matic. He's currently aging up and that. And you just, every time he plays in that midfield, our midfield, of course, looks totally imbalanced in that. So I know we paid £40 million for him. He's highly experienced in the Premier League, and we have seen glimpses of how good he can be in that. But I've got so many strong reservations about him. I've got the same concern of elements about, Smalling and Jones. They're now too inconsistent for Manchester United. But I'm glad we've got Harry Maguire because Harry Maguire is a better option than what we've got in our backline now. He's also a fantastic upgrade to the likes of Smalling and Phil Jones and we have got a lot of central defenders anyway. I think we've got around 7 now, including the arrival of Harry Maguire. So maybe we should consider offloading at least 1, maybe even 2 central defenders. Smalling and Jones have been 2 long-serving players at the football club. Smalling's been here 9 years. Jones has been here 8 years, and it was bad business for Manchester United. Giving them 2 new long-term contracts last season. But we definitely need to get rid of them, in my opinion, because they're too inconsistent now for Manchester United. Plus they're aging up. We have got quite a lot of experienced players in the team. We've got quite a lot of aging up players. We've got quite a few upcoming players. Also, we've got quite a few fringe players, and I do believe the majority of the team, will get their chances this season in the Premier League. I should presume, because more or less everybody throughout pre-season, of course, got the opportunity. But it is going to it's going to be interesting to see what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does with the youth. That's something that's going to be interested to see. I think Mason Greenwood will get his chances this season. I think with Chong, not too sure about him, but I think he might. He'll get the odd chance if he doesn't get a lot of chances. McTominay, I think we'll get more chances this season. McTominay, I'm still sceptical about him. I don't know if he's a long-term solution for Manchester United, but I think he did well. Throughout pre-season, he's gained a bit more experience. With Fred, he'll get his opportunities. Fred did well, in the games he played in pre-season, but still very sceptical about him. I think for me, the club, overpaid for him last summer. Obviously, we did pay £50 million for him, but just looking at our midfield at the moment, it isn't good enough, and it's concerning me. Is that midfield? But I just don't think we're going to get a midfielder in now. I think our business is over. I think Harry Maguire is the last bit of business in this current window. So I do believe now there isn't any more incomings. I might be proven wrong, but I just don't think there's going to be any more incomings unless we can get this deal over the line for Inaki Williams from Atletico Bilbao. Yes, but there's throughout the course of the summer, anywhere, there's been a lot of speculation, about players coming in, and of course players leaving the football club. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, was recently, talking about our recruitment policy, but actually Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's preference was at the end of March, I think it was actually, to get our transfer business completed, by the time, we initially, went out on pre-season. But obviously, that didn't currently happen and all that. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer hasn't become infuriated today with this window. He just basically said we've got good players on the board. We do need to be patient. And he was describing of how difficult this transfer window is. But I still believe Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can get Manchester United back to success. I'm very, very confident that can happen. Indeed, don't forget he did say at the end of last season he's worked out his transfer strategy. Obviously, he wants to recommend a number of young players to come to Manchester United that can grow, develop and emulate into superstars and that. But I'm looking forward to the game on Sunday against Chelsea. It's going to be a tough encounter, against Chelsea at Old Trafford. We usually do well against them at Old Trafford. It'd be good to see Harry Maguire giving his debut on Sunday, because I do believe he'll get given his debut for for Manchester United. Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, I also, believe they're going to get their Premier League debuts. And they've been fantastic for Manchester United so far. Of Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, seeing glimpses of how good they are. Daniel James, like I said, is still a prospect and needs time to develop. And with Wan-Bissaka, he's had a fantastic start to his career, and I think he can become one of the best right backs in the Premier League this season without a shadow of a doubt. And I think he can be our full-back for the next decade and that. And like I did say before, we got Wan-Bissaka, and we didn't have a good defensive right back, since the likes we had since when we had the likes of Gary Neville and all that. And like I said, we had a fantastic team under the Alex Ferguson era, and obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to rebuild the team. What the team did, under Alex Ferguson. Basically, we want team now. We want this team, to replicate what the team did under Alex Ferguson. But these still actually, couple of players here from the Alex Ferguson era. Don't forget, the majority of this squad is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. There's only 3 players that are currently his and that. But like I did say, I just don't think there's going to be many incomings, any more incomings, of course, this summer. Obviously, I've given you the news today, overnight, guys, in regards to Christian Eriksen. Obviously, as that's currently confirmed, Manchester United are no longer in for him, because obviously, we believe his preference is a move to Real Madrid over Manchester United. So we're no longer now in for Christian Eriksen. Reports emerged out in the last couple of days, saying that we was considering a late audacious move for Christian Eriksen. But I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans, didn't believe there was a lot of credibility in it. Even though some media outlets were saying, the personal terms that have nearly been agreed, contract term has been agreed, and that with the player. But I do believe, anyways, actual preference is a move to Real Madrid. And Simon Stone also reported on this earlier on today. He said we've ended talks for Christian Eriksen, because he said, we are, looking for other potential targets and that. With Christian Eriksen, he does actually, want to leave Tottenham, because obviously, don't forget, early on this summer, he did, confirm that he wants to leave Tottenham. He said he might want to seek for a new challenge, don't forget. But it's been mainly Real Madrid that have been in for him. We've been tentatively linked to him. He hasn't been one of our priority targets. We was probably seen him as a replacement for Pogba, basically. Obviously, he's moved to Manchester United anywhere. Wasn't dependent on Paul Pogba. Was Christian Eriksen. So he could still possibly, remain with Spurs maybe until January, or maybe until when his contract term expires, because he's only got a year left on his contract to Eriksen. But there again, Tottenham would rather cash in for the player rather than letting go on a free next summer, of course. But he is a very, very good player, Christian Eriksen. If we did get the chance, I'd take Christian Eriksen at Manchester United. Well Premier League proven. He's predominantly an attacking midfielder. Goal scoring pedigree, very, very good. Very, very good player, is Christian Eriksen. I think Tottenham do know deep down how much imperative player he is, and obviously Tottenham are got quite a few players on their agenda now who obviously could replace Christian Eriksen. Initially, Tottenham were demanding an extortionate amount for the player. They were demanding an extortionate amount, obviously, but I think they was demanding £130 million earlier on this summer. But obviously, for that figure, obviously, Tottenham are going to find it very, very difficult to offload him. So recent reports did actually suggest out, saying that Tottenham have reduced their asking price, and now reportedly, they've lowered it to around £70 million. Reportedly, it said before we'd ended our interest in the player, it says we was in negotiations with Christian Eriksen's representatives over a £50 million move. So we was keen on paying around £50 million for the player. But if Christian Eriksen isn't sold by tomorrow 5 p.m, I do believe the European Tottenham will be braced for European clubs, to make cut price bids for Christian Eriksen. So they'll make cut price bids of under £50 million for the player. Very, very good player, 27 years of age, highly experienced, and I think if he came to Manchester United, he would bring us them goals that we do need in that midfield. I think he's also very tall as well, which is beneficial. Obviously, he's been at Tottenham over 6 years, and I think in all competitions he's made 277 appearances. Scored 66 goals, and I think in the Premier League he's provided 60 assists, 206 appearances, 49 goals. So his goal scoring pedigree is pretty good, especially for an attacking midfielder. Obviously Tottenham, I think, didn't they get him for around 11.5 million from Ajax back in 2013, or was it in a deal worth up to around 13 million pounds? But yeah, he's had 6 good years with Tottenham as Christian Eriksen. I think reflecting on his performances, he's won Tottenham's Player of the Year quite a few times, the Danish Footballer Player of the year on 5 occasions. But yeah, Manchester United were in for him. So we made a later move for the player. But I think, we've opted our interest because he's focused on a move to Real Madrid, basically. Real Madrid, they've signed 5 players this summer. They spent a substantial amount. I think they spent around 300 million, or is it over 300 million pounds? But I do believe, their top priority now is Paul Pogba over Christian Eriksen. So their preference is Paul Pogba over Christian Eriksen. Probably Christian Eriksen, would be a cheaper solution for Real Madrid than Paul Pogba would be, because we want around 150 or 160 million pounds for Paul Pogba. But Paul Pogba's future still remains uncertain at the moment with Manchester United, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But like I said, Tottenham have come to accept the fact that Christian Eriksen wants to leave. He may not leave this summer, but they've come to accept the fact that he's said that he wants to leave, and that's obviously they've got the likes of Bruno Fernandes, Lo Celso, and obviously Dybala. They're 3 potential targets that could possibly replace Christian Eriksen at Tottenham. So now Christian Eriksen coming to Manchester United now is out of the equation, so we'll forget about him. With the transfer saga about Bruno Fernandes, I do believe his transfer saga is obviously coming nearer to a conclusion now. I do believe Bruno Fernandes probably will end up making the move to Tottenham, if I'm going to be quite honest. Or he may not, make the move to Tottenham. I'm very sceptical now about him coming to Manchester United. So I've been reading recent reports today about the situation of what's going on with Bruno Fernandes, and reportedly Tottenham have now had 3 bids turned down for the player. This is according to the Daily Mail anyway. It's stemming from the Daily Mail. Tottenham have had 3 bids turned down. So today they reportedly had a £60 million bid turned down. Well, it's a deal worth up to around £60 million. So much up front with add-ons included. I think they also had. Around what the last bid they had turned down, I think £55 million, and I think the first bid Tottenham had turned down was just over £41 million. And now reports are coming out saying that Bruno Fernandes has agreed a contract with Tottenham. The personal terms that have been agreed, but no fee has obviously yet come to an agreement. And I did say for the majority of the summer, or should I say for the entirety of the summer, Sporting Lisbon's valuation has seemed to be the stumbling block of Bruno Fernandes supposedly leaving Sporting Lisbon. So Man United have not come to an agreement on the fee yet with Sporting Lisbon. Tottenham have not yet come to an agreement on a fee with Sporting Lisbon, because Sporting Lisbon have said they want around £65 million. Federico Varandas, the Sporting Lisbon president, has currently confirmed this. So obviously, I was reading recent reports about this, and he said we'd held more negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' agent and that. So he said a couple of days ago, was it now, we'd held more extensive talks with his agent. Reportedly, according to whatever it said, we'd agreed a 6-year contract with the player, worth up to around £106,000 a week, but no fee has yet come to an agreement and that. So it's been mainly us in for him for the entirety of the summer, but we have been struggling to come to an agreement on a fee. Now obviously more speculation fueled obviously after the Benfica game in Sporting Lisbon's 5-0 defeat, because obviously Bruno Fernandes broke down in tears. Obviously that just gives you an indication that Bruno Fernandes is on his way out of Sporting Lisbon, and that was the second time he broke down in tears in space of a week. Reports confirmed last Friday that obviously Bruno Fernandes had left Sporting Lisbon's training ground, obviously after a meeting to finalise a transfer exit away, to finalise a transfer exit. And I do believe he obviously had this meeting. It was him and his agent that obviously met up with the boss of Sporting Lisbon, met up with the president, and also met up with the director, of course, to finalise his transfer exit away. Now you were getting reports coming out last week saying that Sporting Lisbon denied speculation that we had reached an agreement to sign Bruno Fernandes and all that. So this is what was basically saying last week. So now reportedly Bruno Fernandes has actually said his preference is to move to Tottenham over Manchester United. And don't forget, Tottenham can offer him Champions League football. Manchester United, can't offer him Champions League football. So I did initially say that could go against us in that aspect. But Tottenham have only just recently entered the equation for Bruno Fernandes. Because they have been sort of like linked to him this summer. You've had Liverpool that have been tentatively linked to him, because Liverpool have been in for him not really that they've been in for him here and there. So Liverpool, you can say, have been tentatively linked to the player. I think Liverpool and Tottenham have held negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' agent. But Tottenham did hold extensive talks with Sporting Lisbon over the weekend and last week, because obviously last week Spurs officials had flown out to Portugal to obviously meet up with Federico Vandes and that to negotiate a possible deal for Bruno Fernandes. I do believe Tottenham are not willing to meet Sporting Lisbon's valuation, so they're not willing to meet the £65 million that Sporting Lisbon do currently want. But the Sporting Lisbon boss, he's had his overarching view on it. He basically came out, did the boss of Sporting Lisbon, and he basically said, look, he said, there has been teams that have been interesting throughout the course of the summer, mainly Manchester United. He did say he doesn't know if Bruno Fernandes is going to believe, and he did say, like his future is still up in the air. I think Bruno Fernandes obviously wants to leave Sporting Lisbon, and Sporting Lisbon have come to accept this fact that he wants to rejuvenate his career and take his footballing career to the next level. But, he's been one of our priority targets, is Bruno Fernandes, obviously, and he's moved to Manchester United as obviously not being dependent on, what happens with Paul Pogba and that. But, he got British journalists, don't forget, coming out the other week, saying that Manchester United have not been interested in Bruno Fernandes all summer. But that's the type of caliber player of Bruno Fernandes. That's the type of caliber player that Manchester United need. A player like Bruno Fernandes. I know he hasn't really got the experience of playing to the highest level. He hasn't really got the experience of playing in the Champions League football. But if he comes to Manchester United, he brings them goals that we need from that midfield. He'd had depth in our midfield. And I think his tenacity is good, his work ethic is good. He's also very good from set pieces. Don't forget, Bruno Fernandes, he's only 24 years of age, and that he's still got 4 years remaining on his contract with Sporting Lisbon. Obviously, his initial release clause, I think, is around £88 million. So I would love him at Manchester United. I think if he went to Tottenham, he'd probably fit their system as well. He'd do well with Tottenham. I said if he comes to whatever team he goes to, if he does leave Sporting Lisbon, whatever team he goes to in the Premier League, I think he will definitely succeed. But I'd just love him at Manchester United, and I'm becoming infuriated with the Bruno Fernandes situation, because I thought we should have had a deal over the line for him by now, but just hasn't currently materialised, because we said before we was only willing to pay up to £50 million for the current player. But his agent has been to the UK quite a few times, obviously looking for the best possible deal and that for his client. But you got reports coming out the other week, and obviously, these stories got proven to be sceptical, but, we're still, taking notice of it. Obviously, then I came on and giving my overarching view on it, of course, because I've got to do with whether it's true or false, but it got proven to be false. He said the other week, a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, that we'd actually reached an agreement with Sporting Lisbon, and he said reportedly a 62 or £63 million figure had been agreed, and reportedly said he was set to fly out to, the UK for his Manchester United medical and all that, ahead of his proposed move to Old Trafford, but obviously, didn't materialise. But Bruno Fernandes, like I said, 24. Obviously last season for Sporting Lisbon, I think scored 31, 32 goals in 50 games and that. His goal scoring pedigree is very, very good. But yeah, we could be set to miss out on him now. I think recent reports said that Real Madrid entered the race for the player, but that's one of Tottenham's targets to replace Christian Eriksen. It's also one of our targets anywhere, because we need reinforcements in that midfield. But yeah, more things, we'll update about the Bruno Fernandes situation without a shadow of a doubt. So there's been a lot of midfielders on our agenda. Like I said, you can basically discard Sean Longstaff now, because we know that Sean Longstaff isn't now coming here to Manchester United anyway. That's obviously not going to happen, even though we have been in for Sean Longstaff throughout the course of the summer. We've been hearing reports throughout the course of the summer, not a lot. There's been a few talks going on about Ivan Rakitic. Obviously, he's been tentatively linked to a move to Manchester United as Ivan Rakitic, but I don't think Ivan Rakitic will come to Manchester United, because I don't think he's got any intentions of leaving Barcelona. I think he remains happy at Barcelona. I think Ernesto Valverde, the Barcelona manager, did confirm that Barcelona are open to selling him, if they find a suitable replacement, if they get a suitable offer, and they do get an adequate replacement for him. I think he's valued at around £45 million. I think this is what, Barcelona would want for Ivan Rakitic. But he's been another midfield that, Manchester United have been in for here and there. But yeah, I just don't think, we're going to get anyone in that midfield. So tomorrow is a big, massive day. So I think, we'll do everything tomorrow we can, to try and get at least one more sign on the board before 5 p.m. So I think, I think Solskjaer and the board now are going to be really, really ruthless tomorrow to see if we can get that, obviously, that replacement for Romelu Lukaku. Just need to go and get something. And anyway, just before I get in, go back to what I said. I said, one of my videos I think I did the other day. Thank you all, for following me on this channel, and I've got like over 100 subscribers now, and I do really, really appreciate that. and I really do appreciate that. Obviously, with the Dybala, obviously, we do know Tottenham have obviously, been in for him. Obviously, as I did confirm to you guys earlier on today, obviously reports came out yesterday again stemming from Damasio. Obviously, Damasio. Very reliable Italian journalist. The majority of the time, he has got quite a few things wrong in the past. But he said yesterday that Tottenham had agreed a €70 million fee with Juventus for Paulo Dybala. Like I said, €70 million equates to just over 64 million in pounds sterling. It was also coming out from Sky yesterday. So there's obviously quite a lot of credibility in it. So that reportedly the fee has been agreed. But like I said, the obstacle in negotiations, could actually, be, Dybala's wage demands. So now, obviously, Tottenham will try to find an agreement with Dybala and his agent of the personal terms. But I think Tottenham, probably won't meet his wage demands. I think reports have said today that Dybala would demand around 300 grand a week if he is, of course, to make the move to Tottenham. So he is demanding a significant pay rise. He was demanding 350 grand a week, to come to Manchester United. But obviously, we was not willing to meet his £350,000 a week wage demands and that. So Dybala is predominantly number 10. He can also play as a forward. So yeah, again, Tottenham are seeing Dybala as a replacement for Christian Eriksen. I think Dybala is open to making the move, even though he did recently say that his actual preference is to remain in Turin. I do believe he's held them talks with Maurizio Sarri. He returned to training earlier on this week. Did Paulo Dybala, but I would go with that. The swap deal didn't go through. Between Dybala and Romelu Lukaku, because I think it would have been very beneficial for us. We'd have got that replacement for Lukaku, because obviously looking at Dybala's better than Lukaku. I say Dybala's in my top 10 category without a shadow of a doubt. He scored 78 goals in 182 appearances in all competitions in his 4 years with Juventus, and you've got to say that's very impressive. Lacked goals last season, only scored 10 in all competitions last season, but he's this year lost his place in the Juventus team, because he did lose his place last season to Ronaldo, did Paulo Dybala in that. But I thought there was some credibility in him coming to Manchester United last week. I really did. He's still got 3 years left in his contract with Juventus. He is on around 120 grand a week. Dybala's agent was in London last week. He was holding negotiation with Manchester United. He also held secondary talks with Manchester United, of course, of the personal terms. But we've been tentative linked with Dybala. He hasn't been, again, like I said, one of our main priority targets. But he would have been a fantastic replacement for Romelu Lukaku. So it's a shame, really, that the swap deal didn't go through, because he didn't agree the move did Dybala. This is why the swap deal, never went through. It fueled a bit more speculation at the last weekend and that, when Dybala, was absent from training with Juventus. Obviously, because Juventus, withdrew him from training until his transfer saga was resolved and that, and he basically last weekend got forced to train on his own. So obviously, that made him change his mind that he wanted the move away and that from Juventus. Dybala's 25, still got a hell of a lot of development and that in him. But yeah, reportedly, Tottenham have agreed this fee. Tottenham have already smashed their transfer record. Don't forget already this summer on Tanguy Ndombele, who they paid £65 million for. Well, it was a deal worth up to around £65 million. Don't forget Tottenham are still in there for Lo Celso from Real Betis. That's been one of their main priority targets. Tottenham's. But Mario Mandzukic, I haven't read recent reports about him, to be quite honest with you. I think I give you an update about Mandzukic earlier on in the week. Actually, well, it said I think it was actually last Sunday. Yes, it was last Sunday. It actually said that Mario Mandzukic had agreed the personal terms with Manchester United. It said he had agreed a 3-year deal worth around 6.2 million a year, which equates to around £120,000 a week. And it even said Man United and Juventus had agreed a £15 million fee for Mandzukic, because it did get revealed how much it cost, and it did say around £15 million. I think it did say at the time when the Mandzukic rumours came out, the swap deal between Dybala and Lukaku, I think was actually still on at that moment in time, if I'm right. But I just thought, I think anyway, Mandzukic, Juventus wouldn't have included Mandzukic in a swap anywhere for Romelu Lukaku. And obviously, if they would have done, obviously, Manchester United wouldn't have had to pay a fee anywhere. But I think the actual Manchester United board have got strong reservations about recommending Mario Mandzukic to the football club anywhere, because reflecting on his age, he is age 33 now. You can only say he's got probably a year, maybe even 2 years at the top, probably left in him and all that. Don't forget his pedigree really good. He's had a pretty decent career, as you know, Mario Mandzukic. Obviously, I think in his entire career, he's bagged 188 goals in 476 appearances, and I think in his 4 years he's been at Juventus, I think he's made 162 appearances in all competitions and scored 44 goals, provided around 24 assists as Mario Mandzukic. But I think it initially confirmed anywhere earlier on this week that, you know, we'd ended our interest in Mario Mandzukic, like I updated you on. Obviously, you know, with Dybala, you know, rejecting a transfer to Manchester United. So basically, you know, we ended our interest in Mandzukic, but maybe we could still revive our interest in the player. We could obviously see him as a replacement for Romelu Lukaku, and don't forget, you know, he is available for reasonable figure is the player. And he's 33 years of age. I think he's a forward, like I said. I think before he was at Juventus, had a spell with Atletico Madrid, I think he had a spell with Bayern Munich. I think he also played for Wolfsburg, Dynamo Zagreb when he was younger. Overall, had a pretty decent career, but I think the board have got reservations about, you know, bringing him to the football club because he's now 33 years of age. So you could see him as a potential replacement for Lukaku. Don't forget. Like I said, a hell of a lot of money has been invested into this football club. Like I said, when, you know, the signing got announced of Harry Maguire, you know, we spent now £968 million in all the managerial areas since Ferguson retired, including what we spent this summer under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So £968 million, that's just under £1 billion we spent. So if we was to make another signing before tomorrow, 5 PM, you know, it would take our spending obviously up to more than £148 million this summer. And it'd also in total in the managerial areas, and that he'll take it up to £1 billion or maybe even more than £1 billion. But a lot of money has been invested into the football club. But don't forget, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. He's still inheriting players here from Van Gaal. He still plays here from the David Moyes era. He's inheriting well. Does the only matter here now from the David Moyes era, obviously, because obviously, you know, Fellaini did leave, but he was inheriting Fellaini. You know, and there's still plays here from the Alex Ferguson era. You know, don't completely forget. But yeah, a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club, and you know, we haven't won the Premier League, you know, for over 6 years now. Last time we won it was obviously, you know, under Alex Ferguson. Obviously, it was in Alex Ferguson's last season, and last time we won it quite comfortably. You know, won the league by 11 points back in 2013 and that. But like I said, I still think we're at least a couple of years off winning the league. You know, in the last 6 years, we've won a couple of trophies here and there, but you know, we haven't won enough really. You know, won the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal, you know, won the Europa League and League Cup under Jose Mourinho. That came in Jose Mourinho's first season. But I think it's going to work out for Solskjaer because he knows the culture of the club. He knows the club inside out, don't forget. You know, he even managed a Manchester United reserve team for a couple of years. So you watch this team at this day and age grow and develop. You know, he's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. He was a great player for Alex Ferguson, you know, under Alex Ferguson, for 11 years and that. Very, very good player. I think as a player, I think he joined in '96, and then obviously, he had an 11-year tenure. He came in '96, and then obviously left. I think in 2007. But yeah, I think, you know, he's going to succeed at Manchester United. But anyway, even if it doesn't go right this season, I think we still need to give him time anywhere. Because, you know, we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers, basically. You know, we've already sacked 3 since Alex Ferguson's retirement, you know, back in 2013. 3 managers have already been sacked from the football club. So the main part of this video was to basically say who should replace now Romelu Lukaku at the football club. I do believe he's going to be going to Italy tomorrow for his medical to complete his move to Inter Milan. The bid now has been accepted, which is very, very good news, and we've finally got him out of our football club. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.